You're listening to Superpowers of the Soul on the Superpower Up Podcast, the show that elevates superpowers to the divine.
Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Jennifer Urezzio, superpower expert and founder of Soul Language, and this is Superpowers of the Soul. And today I'm with Mary Showers, and the topic is consciousness and happiness. Welcome, Mary.
Hey, it's so great to be here. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
I'm so excited. So, I always like to start with the first question, which is, what do you consider your superpower of your soul?
I think that my superpower is the ability to manifest.
I love that. There was like this ... feeling, but then there was like, nope, that's it. So let's talk a little bit about what you consider your sacred purpose. I consider my sacred purpose to help people connect, myself and others, to alleviate suffering. It's more of a being than a doing. So what do you consider your sacred purpose?
I consider my sacred purpose to be I am lucky and blessed in this life to have an absolute understanding of a certain type of universal knowledge that it is my job to, and it has to do with consciousness, but it's my job to take this universal knowledge and spread that message out into the world using language that's accessible by, sometimes I say accessible by the humans.
Yeah, so taking those complex universal knowledges and putting it in a way that humans and people can really integrate and then embody.
Absolutely. And I consider myself a human. I'm not like, but just all humans in general, getting them to understand this universal knowledge so that we can all elevate our possibilities in life.
And then how does that sacred purpose, how does that reflect in your work?
In lots of ways, and not always ways that were obvious to me in the beginning. So at first it started off as a communication strategy and really wanting to help businesses with communication strategies that was teaching them how to validate people, how to really build strong connections in your business, whether that meant with your employees, whether it meant with your clients or, your vendors. It's just like really building these very strong relationships. And then it morphed. So after about somewhere between 5 and 10 years of that, it really began to morph into a more broader perspective of very specific, this is how you manifest things, and this is how you create and control your reality. And then that work came out in the book Conscious Communications.
Beautiful. And I think it's really important that the listeners understand that our sacred purpose, when we keep asking questions, when we keep doing transformational work, when we keep, asking for more consciousness and clearing those limiting beliefs and patterns, our work is going to morph and go deeper. When I first started, I was about success, right? Which success is still in all of my business stuff, but it's much more deeper than that because I kept asking questions and really wanting to understand the delivery systems of my sacred purpose. So what is a common theme that your soul has shared with you across your journey?
I'm only briefly pausing because I'm taking the questions so seriously. I want to say that universally it is that we have no idea how powerful we are, and I am included in that. And so even though I can claim that I'm a best-selling author, even though I can claim that I am a CEO and a mother of 2 children, and even though I have all of these, say, successes under my belt, I still have no understanding of how powerful I really am.
I would agree with that statement. I think so often, as everything goes off in my system, so often, when people go, oh, you've written 2 books. I'm like, oh yeah, I've written 2 books, and I think so, especially in times of expansion or transformation, we often forget how powerful we are. And it's a good practice to go back and go, okay, here's why I'm powerful, but that doesn't make me powerful. What makes me powerful is this consciousness, this heartbeat of soul, this one connection with the divine, however you want to put that. So I love what you're saying here. So how does your soul support others, Mary?
I believe that I also have this gift of seeing what other people's superpower is. So I even talk about in the book a little bit like choosing your archetype and understanding that whoever it is that you choose, like say you choose I don't know, Superwoman or somebody like that, that those are qualities that you already embody and like bringing those qualities out. But as a CEO for 20 plus years now, one of the things that I am really great at is spotting what is special and great within someone else. And as I have been getting more and more into the teachings of helping people to become who they really are, like helping them understand that their purpose is not something that's hiding from them behind a curtain, like it's this elusive thing that you have to, climb the mountain of Mordor to be able to discover your purpose, but that really it's the gifts and skills and talents that you were innately born with, that you were good at, that maybe in when you were young, you really enjoyed doing it, but because of our culture and our belief systems, we sort of felt like we outgrew those things. Well, no, we didn't necessarily outgrow them. They're still there, and we can awaken to the power of them, and we can understand that whatever that special purpose is, or you like to use the word sacred purpose, that the moment that you step onto that path, that doors all around you will start to open up. And so I think that this goes right back to your first question of, taking that universal knowledge and getting it out to the world. This is just part of the ways that I know how to do this.
I'm nodding my head. You can't see me, but yeah, I think that so often when we're talking to clients, I'll hear so often, but everyone can do that, or that's a gift. Like it's so easy, those telltale signs of that's your soul in action. There, pay attention to that. And I think so often we just kind of move past that because it's so simple, because it's so easy, because it's not hard. And we have this preconceived notion or this belief that it has to look or be different. So very interesting stuff. Before we break here, can you tell people how to reach out and get to know you more and all of that good stuff?
Yeah, well, I have a website, which is maryshores.com, SHORES. And the place that I hang out the most is in my Facebook group, Fearless Ambition. You are all welcome to join. You can find all of my stuff in the Facebook group, and everything is on the website.
Beautiful. Okay, everyone, you have been listening to Jennifer Urezzio, and this is Superpower of the Soul and Mary Shores, and we're talking about consciousness and happiness when we get back from the break.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/the-net to learn more.
Well, welcome back to Superpowers of the Soul. I'm Jennifer Urezzio, and I've been chatting with Mary Shores, and the topic today is consciousness and happiness. So, Mary, tell us, so everyone's on the same page of listening here, what do you consider the word consciousness and the word happiness mean to you?
So I think that happiness is an emotion. Happiness is a state of being where we feel, we've got this natural inner glow, this natural inner state of being that it means a lot of things. Like it means, number one, that our neurochemistry is in alignment, that it is in a healthy balance. So we've got plenty of serotonin and dopamine that is supporting our brain. It also means that our circumstances are such that are meaningful and that support us on our journey, because I think it's terribly difficult to be happy when you have certain situational stress around you. And I think that happiness is also when you just feel satisfied. It doesn't always mean you're jumping for joy, but when you wake up and you're satisfied and you're not drudging the day.
Yeah, I think that happiness and consciousness are both choices. And I think so often when we look outside of ourselves for happiness, we're not being conscious, right? And we're always going to be behind the eight ball because outside circumstances change all the time. But when we tune inward for that happiness, that can be very sustainable. So you're a best-selling author. You've created this book. You have been talking to people about manifestation and in my words, unlocking their unbelievable possibilities. What do you feel over your journey has been the most important thing that people need to know about happiness and about manifestation?
Well, if you want to specifically be how happiness relates to manifestation, I would say that we hear all the time in spiritual speak that how you feel is so very important. And what I would say about that is I think that there's this place of empowerment that is the best point of manifestation. In other words, when you feel empowered, and this is different than happiness, okay? So when you're in an empowered state of being, when you manifest from that point, then everything you manifest is going to show up stronger, faster, better. It's going to be more lasting. And most importantly, it's going to have a greater impact in your life and others. And what that empowerment looks like is when you understand inside, outside, backwards, and forwards exactly what it is that you're doing. It's like when you can see that end result and all the steps in between that it's going to take there, and you take action from this empowered state of being, it creates this confidence that propels you and opens doors for you. Now, the flip side of that is disempowerment. And this is a fear-based manifestation. And so anything that we're creating from a place of fear or from a place of disempowerment, this looks like we are, we're walking on eggshells. We're trying to think about how to respond to a situation because we're fearful. If I say this thing, then that person's going to say this, or if I do this, then this is going to be the consequence. And so it's the exact opposite vibration of empowerment. And everything that you create from this disempowered state of being is going to be weak, stressful, chaotic, and uncertain. And it's this feeling, and we've all had this, when you just feel like you're walking through concrete and you just can't get anywhere. And so a lot of times people will ask me, well, what are you supposed to do when you are in this disempowered state of being? Because I am not somebody who believes in the positive psychology movement to the point that we're supposed to be happy all the time and we don't have a way to process our lives when our problems hit the fan. And let's face it, I mean, in life, there are going to be times that you are feeling very fearful or disempowered. And what I've really learned is the key is that when you are in that state of being, the most important thing to do for yourself is to nurture your soul. This is the time to rest. This is the time to do whatever you can for self-care, even if that means taking 5 deep breaths or just picking a Wednesday night to have a bubble bath. Just whatever it is you can do for yourself, what happens is you start to climb that frequency scale of emotions until maybe after a few days or a few weeks, you can get yourself, I call it like someone throwing you down a rope ladder when you're down that deep, dark hole. And so I think that if I were to answer that question, like I said, between happiness and manifestation, that is what I would want people to know.
Beautiful. Also when you were talking about empowerment, I think that empowerment works so wonderfully. Because what I've noticed is when people in their head, so to speak, that they have the entire vision from start to finish and they know how it's going to work and, they're solid in that. I think what that allows them to believe is that as they direct what I call the God goo, it will show up. I think that empowerment says, hey, I'm directing the God goo, it's going to show up, where fear is that, I don't know if this is all going to work out. And so manifestation goes off kilter. So the last question I have for you is, what was at least one thing that was really the key to, you were kind of born an instant manifestor, but what was the key to allowing that skill in you to grow and flourish?
I think that it was when I really understood the power of choice. So I would explain it like this. Everything we say, everything we do, every word we speak, every choice we make, every action we take in the thinnest sliced moments of life is either creating a deeper connection or it's driving a disconnection. And that is true for every aspect of your life. That's true in your relationships. That's true in your wellness. If you think about it, like in every moment we have a choice. I actually, in the book, it's chapter 5, it's called To Cleanse or Clog, That Is the Question. And I think that I've made this concept so easy because, we hear things like the power of now, and it can be very esoteric. But if I say to you, in every choice you're making, it's either cleansing your life or clogging it. Pick which one.
Yeah. I often say, is this choice going to be me closer to knowing, to embodying the wholeness and completeness, or farther away? So before I ask the last question, Mary, how do people get in touch with you again?
Well, I would love for anyone to reach out to me in the Facebook group, Fearless Ambition. And I also have another Facebook group. It's for women only. It's called Declaring Gratitude. And so that's also open to people. We share gratitudes in that group. Of course, my email is, you can contact me via the contact form on my website. And also, I just love it if anything I'm saying resonates with any of the listeners, the book Conscious Communications, your step-by-step guide to harnessing the power of your words to change your mind, your choices, and your life is available on Amazon. And I always say, if you read the description and a handful of reviews, you will know right away if this book is for you or not.
Well, thank you so much. And here's my last question. If you were a magnet, a refrigerator magnet on the Divine Universe Tree, Bob, Cupcake, whatever you call that refrigerator, what would it say?
Would say, awaken the power of words.
Beautiful. Well, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And thank you for all the work that you're doing in the world.
Thank you, Jennifer. It's my pleasure to be here.
Yay. And if you like what you've heard, you can connect with me and all the other experts in the Superpower Net at superpowerexperts.com/the net to find out more. Thanks, everyone. This is Jennifer Urezzio, and this has been Superpowers of the Soul.
Are you ready to discover your superpowers? Go now to superpowerexperts.com and take the Superpower Quiz today.